All right, everybody, welcome into the Fifth Dimension podcast with me, Evan McDermott. For today's show, I was joined once again by Letao Wang. Letao is a spiritual counselor, astrologist. He is also the author and creator of Oracle of the Mythic Heroes, as well as Oracle of the Celestial Deities, two decks that I own myself and I use often and greatly enjoy. And look at, we break down the upcoming year, 2026, what it's looking like from an astrological sense, Chinese astrology. We break down numerology. We got a little special reading for all of the listeners at the end of the podcast. Look at Aurora's moving around in here. What are we doing, baby girl? We'll put her down. We'll get her out of here. All right. But so I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I would highly encourage you guys as well. If you want a little bit more of an in-depth reading and look at 2026 in terms of your own astrology, I highly recommend booking a service with Letao. I have done so myself. Even got another one lined up. So really insightful, really in-depth, and it is a pleasure to call Letao a friend and a brother and be able to share this path with him and share the space and just be able to chat and collaborate. And, I really look up to the way, to him as a human being, first and foremost, but also to how he shares tarot, shares oracle, shares astrology, shares the spiritual truth and grounds it into a more practical, everyday wisdom. So special thank you to Letao. Always a great time catching up. And I hope you guys enjoy this one as much as I did. If you're a fan of the show, subscribe, whatever platform you are on. You can also subscribe on Substack, even though I haven't been posting too much on Substack lately. You can also buy a copy of my book, Seasons of Becoming, as you can see it behind me. Seasons of Becoming. Love it. Gotta love it. It is the poetry collection and really follows a mythic arc of my own journey over the past year. So check it out. Link for the Amazon page with Seasons of Becoming is in the episode show notes below. I am also offering many of my own personal readings, which are available, and I'll link that in the episode show notes below. And the offer still stands. Donation-based year ahead reading from me. If you're interested, just shoot me a message. I don't actually have a page for that. You'd have to more inquire and reach out directly. Just makes the ones who are real committed, they're willing to take that step and do it. So that is available. And I'm also proud to announce Iron and Ether. Iron and Ether forge the body, awaken the spirit. Soon I'll be recertified for personal training, which I'll be offering up as services. And I've created Iron and Ether. I got the shop where you can get some Iron and Ether, but also some Fifth Dimension merchandise. That is linked below if you want to support my work. You can buy some merchandise, which is pretty sweet. And I'm also offering up, at the moment, what I'm offering is personal consultation where we design, look at your goals, and create a fitness program that is in alignment with your goals physically, but also spiritually, right? So we're really taking this question, and I'm going to do a full podcast breakdown on this concept soon, just to kind of really dive out the concept of iron and ether. But how do we integrate spirit into fitness and health and wellness? Because I believe they go hand in hand. I know they go hand in hand based on my own lived experience, and my own weightlifting and physical practices are deeply rooted in my spirituality. So, and vice versa, my spirituality is deeply rooted in my physical practices. It's like a yin and a yang. So, if that interests you, the link to book that consultation and call is in the episode show notes below. It's not a commitment to long-term training. It's where we sit down and we talk, and then I design you a personalized program. And obviously, you can check back in with me and tell me how it's working and whatnot. We can make adjustments as it goes. But I'm not going to be sitting on Zoom with you in the weight room necessarily. That's not what it's about. It's about getting a program based on what your needs are. So check that out. Episode show notes below. I got that down there. And if it's not up there when you're first watching this, as I'm recording this, I haven't published that onto the page yet. So I might upload the podcast and then go publish that. So there might be like an hour or two lag time. So if you're watching within the first hour, it might not be up yet, but that's okay. It will be. It will be by the end of the day, before Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody watching as well. Hope you have a wonderful holidays. Hope you're reigning in the new year. And hey, it's my birthday coming up, December 29th. Appreciate all the support for the show. I'm gonna be 30. 30, I'm getting old. Uh, so if you want to send a little love for the birthday, by all means, you can always donate to the show or just subscribe or share it out, whatever it may be. It helps me, it helps the show, and how we keep growing. So lots of new good things coming for 2026. I'm excited. It's a 1 year, as Letao explains. You know what that means? It's the beginning of new cycles, planting new seeds, and that's what we're making happen, baby. Without further ado, let's jump into the podcast with Letao Wang. Enjoy. All right, everybody, welcome into the Fifth Dimension podcast. Joined once again by our friend Letao Wang, spiritual counselor. Letao, always a pleasure to be able to chat and connect.
Uh,
Thanks for coming back on.
Thank you so much for having me back again. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good
Yeah,
to see you too. It's nice to
yeah.
just kind of chat and catch up a little bit before we hopped on the show. Uh,
Absolutely. And I love the new background.
oh, thank you. I feel like it's changed every single time
Yeah,
that you've
yeah.
come on. So
Uh,
maybe we'll have a little consistency the next time you come on too, and it'll be the same
yeah.
background. But you
Uh,
never know. I seem to just have I don't know, a million different backgrounds all the time. But
Beautiful. I mean, did you paint those pictures?
so you know what's funny is the one that's this one I did, and
Uh-huh.
I don't paint at all, which is
Okay.
it's funny
Mm.
that I did that. I was doing art therapy with a kid at work, and I said, "Hey,
Oh,
let's do some painting, and I'll paint one with you to like, kind of demonstrate. I'll do it, but it's it's not as intimidating." And I painted that, and I'm
mm,
like, "Oh wow, I kind of like it. Let me put it up." Then the picture up there, somebody else drew for me, so
uh,
that's the only thing I've ever painted in my whole life, basically. So,
it's very
uh,
interesting. Actually, art therapy is such a huge thing these days in Hong Kong.
really,
Um, yeah, and in my early training days as a counselor, I used to observe
hmm
children painting, or maybe they're doing Legos,
yeah,
right, or doing some kind of activity, right? I mean, you can see a lot of things from their habit, right, the things they tend to do. Yeah, it's very interesting to observe when they are trying to be creative, when they're trying to use their creativity. And then as an astrologer, then we'll also look at their chart, and you
hmm
can see certain tendencies. Right? It's just a very, very interesting, yeah, to me.
I was gonna say that's cool. I
Mm,
guess those types of therapies are picking up and enhancing
mm,
in popularity. So it's cool that I get to integrate stuff like that because I like to take a creative approach for myself and
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of dive in. If anything, maybe
Mm,
I should I should sit down with you again and look at the creative aspects of my chart. I don't know if when I got my session if we really looked at that and talked about that, but maybe it would help me take the right approach. I don't
uh,
know because
uh,
creativity comes and goes for me. I think I've written only maybe one poem in the last month or two
uh.
since I launched my
Oh,
book, but
100%. Yeah.
it comes
Mm,
in waves. So
100%. I mean, there are writers, right, who can be very consistent in the way they write. I don't know, maybe every day they will write something, and they can be very
mm,
consistent. I'm definitely like you.
yeah,
If I don't write maybe for a few months, I cannot write anything.
yeah,
But when I really feel that spark, then I just start, and then it's just non-stoppable.
yeah.
Um, just have to wait for that timing, right? Yeah. So I'm not really controlled by us. Yeah. Mm.
Exactly. I just wrote a poem, one of my first ones in a while. I wrote it as dear poetry, and I started, sorry for not writing for a while. That's how I started it out. I'm like, let me
Uh,
address the issue right off the bat.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
not even an
yeah.
issue, but let me address it right off the bat. You know,
Uh,
but now it starts to feel like that spark is coming back a little bit. Um,
uh,
but Latau, so we're at the winter solstice. I feel like
mm,
there's like a lot of different like transitions and themes we got going on right now. We got the winter
mm.
solstice. We're leaving the year of the snake. I got a little snake on my hat. Shout out to my
Yeah, I
brother.
saw that. Yeah, so cool.
Shout
Yeah.
out to my brother
Uh,
who just sent this to me in the mail and I opened it up early. It was a Christmas present. I wanted to reuse the Christmas bag, so I opened it up early.
mm,
Year of the snake is ending. We're going to the year of the horse. I know we're going into a 9 year too. I mean, I don't know if you, I wanted to dive into all of those and unpack them. I
Mm,
don't know if it'd be easier to
mm,
do so one at a time. Obviously, I kind
mm.
of just threw them all out there all at the same time. Maybe just to give listeners a little context, but
Yeah, yeah,
so what sort of, looking at the astrological perspective or diving into any of
uh,
those, what sort of major themes are you noticing are
yeah,
present in those or people
right.
should kind of be mindful of?
It's kind of interesting that about several months ago, uh, so I don't know if you know this. He's quite a well-known astrologer based in California. So he's also a good friend of mine. His name is Gao Sasson. I've done a few uh, Instagram collaboration with him. So he has an astrology book coming out every year, actually.
Hmm.
And so for 2026, and of course, he was writing this book in 2025, right, for 2026. And he was very kind to invite me to write a part of the book for the Chinese astrology part because he is more sort of like a Western astrologer and also he's an expert in Kabbalah, the
Hmm.
tree of life. So when it comes to Chinese astrology, he wanted a little bit of input from me. And of course, I was very honored to write that chapter for him. The book was called The Astrology Book of 2026, Metamorphosis in Motion.
Okay.
It's a really cool book. And he does it's an amazing job every year. Talking about the transit and the energy of each year. It's an annual thing, yeah, for him. And so when I was writing the book, writing the chapter, not the book, sorry, writing my chapter, right, as a part of the contribution to his book, I noticed that 2026 was really a different year from 2025. Because when we are, for the past 12 months, right, the year of the wood snake carried a lot of the introspective and the thoughtful energy of the snake. And, it's all about, the yin energy. It's about shedding the old patterns, the old skins, and how we want to achieve a sense of completion.
Hmm.
But when we move into 2026, which is the year of the fire horse, so not only does the animal sign changes, but also the heavenly stem element also changes, right, from wood to fire. And so, first of all, this is a transformation from yin to yang,
Hmm.
from the more sort of like a hermit energy towards more of a fiery, inspirational energy with more momentum. And the fire horse energy, it's about speed, it's about forward movement. So I think, in a way, if I can use an analogy,
Hmm.
if we say that the snake has spent its past 12 months contemplating what path to take, then the fire horse is actually the vehicle or the chariot that we drive
Hmm.
to race on that path. And so the new year 2026 is more about, I think, sort of like taking actions, right? Taking actions and start galloping. Um, which is, this energy was not very strong in 2025. So in
Sure.
comparison, very, very different. Now, of course, as a Chinese astrologer, individually speaking, we still have to look at your individual chart to really know how this fire horse energy works for your individual, yeah, your own, the chart and the combination of the different elements based on the time, the day that you were born. For some people, it's gonna be an amazing year, right? They're gonna
Hmm.
feel the sense of speed. They're gonna feel this the momentum. A lot of things are gonna come to. They're gonna receive a lot of assistance, but there are also gonna be people who might find it more challenging.
Hmm.
And one of the reasons is because the heavenly stem we have got a fire, right? And the earthly branch is a horse. But the interesting thing is that the horse zodiac sign already carries fire energy anyway. So it's going to be a lot of fire. And we call that the whole pillar, okay? The pillar is composed of the heaven and the earth. So the heaven will have got a fire, and the earth, the horse, which is also fire.
Hmm.
And so is this too much? We don't know, right? And so we also have to look at your individual chart to see it. And do you ride horses, by the way?
I have. I don't do it
Okay,
regularly, but I
okay.
love riding horses every time I've been on them. It feels very
Yeah.
liberating.
Awesome, yeah. So you can see, like horses, they're awesome, right? They're
Yeah.
the symbol of freedom, right? They're fast, right, and all that kind of energy. But you also have to be careful with the horses because they do kick,
Yeah.
and you don't want a little child to stand right next to, you know, the horse because it's dangerous, right? As parents, you want to protect the children. You will tell that you have to educate the kids, right? How to work with the horses because they can be fatal. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
So horse energy is a little bit like that. I think like we want to
Okay.
ride the horse forward, that we don't want to be trampled by it.
I
That's the
get you.
point.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, it reminds me the first time I was on a horse, or like
uh,
the first, when I was older, I did it when I was a kid a few times, but as an adult, the first time on a horse, I was down in Costa Rica, and I remember I hopped on that thing, and I didn't get any lessons. They just said, "All right, let's ride this horse," and I hop on, and it just starts taking off, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this thing is gonna kill me!" And
wow.
eventually, I learned it was because I was leaning so far in. I was leaning so
Uh,
far into the horse that it was just like, all right, let's go. And eventually, I
uh,
learned how to kind of control it. But I'm
uh,
like, holy smokes, that thing is, that thing feels dangerous. And so, I definitely, it's interesting, Letao. To me, I feel like I'm looking at what I'm doing right now and all the
yeah.
different aspects of sort of my own work and development. I feel like I'm planting a lot
Mm,
of seeds for this sort
mm,
of work and for this
yeah.
speed. It's almost like I can kind of feel that shift in momentum starting to build now, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
a lot of the layers and shedding from the snake year, it's like a lot of that work almost feels obviously we do that over the course of our lifetime, but it feels like a lot of the work of
Yeah.
2025 has sort of reached its conclusion, and I
Yeah.
can look back and see all of it, and you
Yeah.
know and so now it feels like I'm already feeling that type of energy, like kind of on the horizon, if you will.
Interesting. What year were you born?
I was born in 1995, so but I'm December 29th, so it's this is my season, Capricorn season, but
Yeah. Happy birthday, by the way.
thank you.
1995. So a year of pig.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, 2025 was definitely has been a little bit challenging, I
Yes.
would say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because pig and snake, they are clashing.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you look at the zodiac wheel, yeah, I mean, snake and pig, they are at the opposite spectrum. They are
Ah,
opposing each other on the chart.
ah,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
makes a lot of
But,
sense. No wonder, no
but
wonder, no wonder 2025 tried to slap me in the face a little bit. I get it. I get it. I took it in stride
but
though. It's all right.
but it's better for you next year, I think. Yeah, I mean, last year was for a lot of people born, for example, 1995, and those are 12 years before that. That would be 1983.
Hmm.
It was a challenging year. Yeah, but next year it's more challenging for uh, people who are 1 year younger than you. So 1996. So that would
Okay.
be rat. Uh,
I'm
mm,
glad I made the cutoff then.
yeah, you did.
I got it out of the
Yeah,
way.
hang in there. Yeah, 2 more months. Because Chinese New Year. Well, okay. So 2026 Chinese New Year starts on February the 17th. But
Oh,
the
okay.
Chinese animal sign was the zodiac year will start on February the 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got 6 weeks, five
All right.
weeks.
There we
Hang in
go.
there.
That's good. That's good. See, I had been thinking in my head January
Yeah.
1st, and I was thinking about 2 or 3 days, but 6 weeks, that's much better of a grace period. I
Mm.
like that a little bit
Yeah.
more. I like that a little bit more. You actually answered you kind of answered one of the questions I had about um, the year of the horse in particular, because I was going to ask if there are specific like tarot or archetypal themes, and you mentioned the chariot. You mentioned so that was one
Yeah.
of the energies
Yeah.
that you mentioned, and so is
Yeah.
it really is about like is it, because when I think of the chariot too, I think of almost like a sense of courageousness that comes along
It
with that.
does. Yeah.
So is
Yeah.
that sort of
Yeah.
an energy that we can really hone
Yeah.
in on, is like self courage to kind of meet the universe with that speed? Is that sort
Yeah.
of how we go about that?
So we can use the charity energy, or all the I will also say the fire horse is also very close to the card Knight of Wands.
Hmm. Okay.
because
Okay.
that's literally a knight on the horse,
Oh yeah,
and
you're right.
right, and that card also the it's in the wand suit, so that's the fire energy.
Mm,
So we can combine them together. Chariot definitely. I mean, chariot is very this kind of like forward movement energy. But when you read tarot, sometimes you also read in reverse, right? So when chariot card is reversed, it's talking about driving too fast,
mm,
and we're seeing the negative traits of the chariot, right? So usually when I'm doing a reading, when I'm seeing chariot energy, usually it's very positive, but occasionally you can feel when depending on the individual session, you can tell that the client is like impatient, like
mm,
they can't wait to get there, right? They just, especially when it comes to teamwork, usually that's
mm,
a challenge because they are on their own speed, but the whole team is kind of like not ready for that,
mm-hmm.
and so that person might have a little bit, impatience or problems and things like that. But fire horse definitely, like what you said, I think it has a lot to do with the chariot, has a lot to do with the knight of wands energy. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
And how does that relate to it also being like if we were to put in like the numerology aspect, if we were to kind of take that energy and also put it in the coming into a 9 year, right? So I mean that's usually what completion of cycles or sort of a transition. Is there a
So
way that they bridge at all?
so 2025 has been nine, and
Hmm.
the 2026 is one.
Okay, so beginnings.
Correct, right? So that sits very well with the farm horse energy, because number one is that galloping energy. Number one, if you look at for example, the numerological sequence, the first number is a little bit like a newborn baby,
Mm, mm,
and the baby has just come out and is crying out loud. Its first cry, right? So that's the number one energy. So
mm,
it's less controlled. It's a little bit like, boom, it's like an explosive energy there. So that's the year 2026. So, but again, we have to really look at how we're going to utilize this. It's a bit like a nuclear weapon, I think. You know what I mean?
mm.
Yeah,
Yep.
like you can use nuclear power in a very good way, right? It can generate electricity, power, right? But it's also dangerous. So
Right.
this is the reason why when I was, having the chat with the Gao about the book, and both of us kind of reached this conclusion that 2026 there's a lot of fiery energy there, but as a society, especially these days, right? It's just too chaotic.
Mm,
Specifically, um, the entire year Saturn and Neptune are forming a conjunction in Aries. So this has a lot to do with lessons to be learned for people in the leadership role in the
mm,
world.
mm.
Because
Okay.
Aries, yeah, because Saturn is responsibility and Aries is leadership, right? So Saturn in Aries, but also in astrology, Saturn is in exile in Aries. It's not a good position for Saturn to be in. It's not comfortable there. So this could be about our world leaders learning their lessons about their responsibility. So
Okay.
again, it really depends, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
But
That makes
for a lot of a lot of our our listeners, our audience, depending on their chart, if your chart requires a lot of these kind of fiery and reddish energy, it could be an amazing year for you.
right. Oh, a lot of
Mm,
positive momentum, a lot of growth.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I
Case
have
by case, yeah.
yep, I have Aries in my moon sign, so it's very
Aries Moon. Oh, I see.
yeah. So I have a lot I have a connection with that sign in a sense. I'm like, okay, I feel that energy. I know it internally. It it
Yeah.
drives me forward in a lot of ways.
Aries Moon. Do you know what degree it is in?
I could find out in about 5 seconds. I don't know off the top of my
Oh,
head. I have my chart
okay,
saved as a little image
okay,
right on my phone. Uh,
okay.
but I believe, let's see, let's pull it up. Ooh, oh, what is going on here? Oh, I have the app and
Uh,
it just went and okay,
it's okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
here we go. I'm finding it now. All right, Aries, it is in the second house.
Yeah, but what degree is it? Is it what
Oh,
degree of Aries is it in?
let's see. That would be under the. Oh, I don't think it says that.
It doesn't have, okay, it doesn't
No,
matter then.
it doesn't have the actual degree on here. I'll have to go.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to do a deeper dive then because I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, okay, yeah. No worries. I was just curious because it takes Saturn about 2.5 years
Oh, wow.
to transit Aries. So
Hmm.
it depending on the degree of your moon,
Yep.
location, either 2026 or if it's a later degree, it could be 2027. That could be important emotional renewal for you.
Okay.
Uh,
That's it. That's interesting. So this is gonna be a theme, what you just mentioned, for the next 2.5 years then, realistically.
Saturn, well, for Saturn, yeah, 2.5 years in Aries. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Are there any other planetary, like if you were to look at 2026 as a whole,
Oh,
are there any
yeah,
other
yeah.
major sort of planetary alignments or shifts that are taking place or things that people might are really gonna feel and notice? Like what
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of
oh, for sure.
what are the big ones that
Yeah.
you pick up on?
It was up. I mean, to be honest, right? Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries is one of the most important thing that
Okay.
we just have to be aware of. Because first of all, Aries is the first sign in the zodiac wheel.
Hmm.
So Saturn in Aries and with Neptune in Aries, the last time we had these two planets conjuncting together in Aries was 200 years ago.
Oh wow.
It's not that very common, yeah, to be honest. And depending on your personal chart, right? So this Saturn and Neptune transit will happen in a certain house on your chart. And this is the interesting thing. Saturn rules reality, but Neptune rules dreams.
Hmm.
Saturn rules responsibility, but Neptune rules idealism.
Hmm.
So these two planets coming together, it's a little bit like a wake up call for us to be able to distinguish
Hmm.
what is my dream and what is the reality.
Hmm.
What part of my life have I been delusional about? And when Saturn comes to Neptune, it's a little bit like the bubble is being, burst
Yep.
versus like that. And we have to really look at that particular area of our life and be like, okay, now I need to wake up.
Hmm.
Now, on the other side, for certain people, if you have been too realistic and too pessimistic about certain things, for example, because of your personal history,
Hmm.
because of the past trauma, then Neptune comes to Saturn could also bring a little bit more idealism in a positive way to us and saying that, but can you and are you able to dream again?
Hmm. Right.
It's a bit like that, right? So that is a very, very important transit when these two planets come together, planets coming together. The other thing was Jupiter's transit. I mean, everyone loves Jupiter
Hmm.
because it's a planet of opportunity, it's a planet of expansion, growth, and everything. And Jupiter will move from Cancer into Leo, but it's gonna happen in around July, so mid-year,
Right
right?
around
So
Leo season. Okay.
correct, yeah. So still, I mean, for the first 6 months of 2026, Jupiter is in Cancer, and Jupiter is about opportunities and luck and beautiful things. And Cancer includes family, home, properties, right? Motherhood, all these kind of things. But when it moves into Leo, Leo, it's about creativity.
Mm.
So theater, drama, art. Also, Leo lose children. So we're gonna see some kind of like at a very high level, right, at a societal level, we're going to see some major development, possibly, this is my prediction, in the either art industry or entertainment industry, movie industry, right, things like that.
Mm. Okay.
Mm,
I love that. I love well that
mm,
those are some big shifts. And I feel like it's
mm.
good to when you can kind of recognize
Uh,
what's happening at a planetary level or on a
uh,
societal level, it really allows you to kind of I would almost say move at the right time and
mm,
almost obviously we don't have to map out our lives entirely and say, all right, I'm going to do this then. But
Yeah.
like if you can kind of tap in on what's happening on the planetary level, like I
Mm,
feel like you make the right moves at the right time, right? If you have things
mm,
planned
mm,
out
mm.
or you know what energies are supporting you, you know sort of what might your roadblocks be, what might your challenges be during this time based on the astrology, right? It
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of puts it all into greater perspective. Because I think, like we were talking about before hopping on, like kind of almost having that the creativity, it comes in waves, right? So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure if we were to look at our astrological charts, we could maybe pinpoint it out as to exactly why that is right now, right? Or why
yeah,
we're
yeah,
why we're
yeah,
not writing as much as we did, say, a couple months ago. And because I
yeah,
think
yeah,
sometimes when we hit those like stagnation periods, it's easy to feel self-doubt or feel shame or feel this. We have to do this, or we're supposed to do this, we're supposed to do this. But I feel like there's always kind of a divine purpose, like a cosmic alignment with a lot of the
mm,
different phases. And we
yeah,
don't always
yeah,
really get that perspective unless we're looking at the planetary alignment. We're looking at the chart, we're looking at the season, right? And then it's like, oh,
yeah,
it's all right that I haven't written in 2 months. This
yeah,
is a
yeah.
period of introspection and reflection without expression or something along those lines, right?
No,
So,
100%. Yeah. It's about learning how to work with the sky,
mhm,
right? Even though sometimes we can become a little bit oblivious of that.
yeah.
Like even as an astrologer, sometimes I forget.
Mm,
Like I would look at a situation and either get upset or get a little bit depressed. And then I realize, of course, it will be like this because right now this is what's happening. Specifically, how that is related to my chart. Then I realize, okay, so this is just really not my timing.
hmm
Yeah, yeah. So, let alone, non-astrologers, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a constant reminder, actually. Yeah. And to
I
know
gotcha.
that it's not about, okay, because I hear this from client a lot. A lot of them just say that, I feel I'm just like not lucky or whatever, they will say it's their unlucky time. And but when you look at the chart and you realize that it's not about unlucky, it's
hmm
it's it's about, well, you gotta really dedicate your time in doing the right thing.
I
Oh,
gotcha.
and
Yep.
that's, yeah. See, for example, when Saturn, or so let's say when Saturn is moving through the sixth house in Aries, that would be what rising? Let me think. Scorpio. Okay, so for Scorpio rising,
hmm
their Saturn would be transiting their sixth house in 2026, and this is about looking after your health,
Okay.
right? Saturn brings reality again, right? And so this could be about, let's say, maybe a heavy drinker, right? Drink, 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 and he or she might think that, yeah, but I've always been drinking this much, I'm fine. But then the reality will hit, right?
Mm,
This year could be maybe getting sick, but it's not about getting unlucky. It's just saying that, well, now the universe is pushing the reality in front of you and saying that if you keep drinking like this, you're gonna die.
mm,
So let's restructure that. And that's the key responsibility of Saturn. It's about restructuring.
right. And so if anything, it's not unlucky. It's almost it's kind of you're being met with the karmic response of your choices in a way in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
situation, and I
yeah.
guess if you're planting seeds of positivity in some aspect, right? Then you're probably going to be met with that at the same time, right?
100%. Yes.
You know?
Yeah, yeah. Saturn was the ancient god of agriculture, actually. And it was very much worshipped during the Roman Empire time. And so, even if these days, if you visit Rome and you go to the ancient ruins, right, you actually can see one of the ruins that you can see is literally the Temple of Saturn in the
Hmm.
middle of Rome. Now I think you can there are still maybe a few pillars
Yeah.
left, right? And so Saturn was not really an evil figure. It was the god of agriculture, and agriculture was like that, right? You reap what you sow, like
Mm,
what you said. I think. Mm.
right. And it always comes back at some point. Are there certain astrological signs that if we're going to look at the year 2026 and I mean a lot of people think of just their sun sign, right? I mean, but obviously
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it like for example, I have heavy Capricorn placements across the board. So Capricorn
yeah,
energy, I know it
yeah.
it permeates like all aspects of my reality almost all the time. But so like, are there certain astrological signs that you've looked at for the upcoming year that you kind of say, oh, it's probably gonna someone with these placements, it's probably gonna be their year. Like, is there a
Leo,
couple that you Leo?
Leo, yeah,
I love that that came right out. Anthony would
yeah,
be very happy to hear you say that right now because he's a
she's a
Leo.
Leo, yeah. Yeah, Leo is good. Yeah, Sagittarius is also good. So the reason is because, especially second half of the year, Jupiter moves into Leo. All right, so it's sending great, beautiful energy to Leo and also to the other two fire signs. And but the reason why I didn't mention Aries is because you actually have Saturn in Aries, which
Mhm.
can be quite intense. So, but for Sagittarius, it's better because for Sagittarius, they're going to receive a trine from beautiful trine from Jupiter and a beautiful trine from Saturn and Neptune. So they're really kind of like fire signs in 2026. I would say are really blessed.
Mm.
But for Earth signs, right? Capricorn
Oh.
and also Virgo, yeah, Earth sign people wait until 2027. It will,
All right.
it will be your time. Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
I'm saying this. I'm also looking forward to that because I'm a Capricorn moon.
Hmm. Okay.
So it's so when Jupiter is in a Earth sign, it's actually very important to me as well. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
but
I like a
Leo,
little delayed gratification. That's fine with me.
yeah, yeah, but Leo very lucky next year, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
in terms of Chinese animal signs, depends. If you're talking about love relationships, family relationships, definitely rabbit.
hmm.
Rabbit is they are this year they have a lucky star called the Sky Happiness, which is a very very good star for relationship. And in terms of career, I would say actually a horse could be good, even though it's their own year. But a horse could be good, and also ox,
Hmm. Okay.
which is Anthony. I think Anthony is an ox.
No, so it's really his year then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a yeah. So yeah. Also good, a very good year for rooster as well. Yeah,
Rooster. Okay.
yeah. I'm to be honest, really bad year for me.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Oh,
We got to go through those cycles, I guess. I was gonna
yeah.
say I didn't hear you say pig in there either, so I'm like, oh, all right,
No, no,
that's
no.
fine.
Yeah, and I'm a rat, so it's not good for a rat actually. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Well, let's say somebody is gonna go into like let's say 2026 and maybe it's not their year, right? Or
mm,
maybe it's there's gonna be those hardships or challenges or the like
yeah,
how do you move like so you could hear that now I'm a very positive optimistic person. You could come on here and tell me that the universe is going to smack me in the face all year. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be difficult. And I'll
yeah,
probably be like, okay, well, it sounds like a good challenge. I wouldn't
mm,
necessarily
mm,
get discouraged by it. But
mm,
I find, there are people, let's say they hear an astrological reading or they really dive into it and they see that, oh
yeah,
man, this year's gonna like kick me in the butt. And they get
mm,
discouraged by it, right?
mm,
How do you
mm,
move through a difficult period when astrologically speaking, it looks like it's working against you and it kind of gives you that
mm,
confirmation. I mean,
mm,
how do you take a mindful approach on that and kind of just embrace the challenges or the lessons or the
mm.
hardships? What's your approach on that?
You know, it's funny when good things are happening to us, we don't think why.
Hmm.
We just take
Oh,
it,
yeah,
right?
that's true.
Right? When good things are happening, we don't think, why am I this lucky? That's no, that's weird. No, we're just okay. I'm lucky. Yay. I'll take it. But we only are concerned when things are not going our way, right?
Hmm.
I think that could be something that to think about why. I mean, if we are having an amazing year, should we also, put so much thought into it and make it a big deal about it? I think one of the things that can really give us happiness is the so-called equilibrium, right?
Hmm.
The sense of peace that when things are really going well, we can be humble. And when
Hmm.
things are not going so well, we're not devastated. We're always balancing ourselves on our small boat.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really the right attitude. Um, and the other thing that me myself, I tend to tell myself is that be grateful.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. Yeah. And sometimes people don't like to hear that because when you say be grateful, the next thing they will say is a defensive reaction. They will
Yep.
say, I am grateful. Oh, I just, right? And they will say, oh, I just did this for my mom, or I just did this for my friend, right? I'm a very grateful person. They will say that. But deep down, when we are actually for example, dealing with a difficult year and we are getting in this zone that nothing is working out, actually, we are not being grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Not to a specific person, but we're not being grateful to the people who are actually caring about us, I think, and who actually are helping us during that period of time. And
Mm-hmm.
because somehow we're so overwhelmed by what is not going our way, then the people who are supporting us, the people who care to send us a message and saying, "How are you?" To
Mm-hmm.
us, that's so insignificant, and that's something that I think we all just have to be a little bit more aware of. Um,
Right.
yeah,
I would definitely agree. It's interesting because it is easy to almost just flow through life and not
yeah,
see the bigger picture, or
yeah,
not
yeah,
question the bigger picture when things are really like
yeah,
working out for you, and it's just you move with speed, direction, you're free flowing,
yeah.
and then when
It's
that, yeah. Oh, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying that, especially I think in cities like Hong Kong, or maybe I don't know, maybe in the US, it could be about more like New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a bit like because this it's so fast paced,
Yeah.
right? It's just so many things that you have to deal with on a daily basis. And most of my clients, they work, they work in those big corporate jobs, banking, finance. I mean, Hong Kong is a financial hub of Asia. And so a lot of bankers here. And so when it comes to whether it's a so-called good year for us or not, right? People tend to take it very, very, take it to heart so
Mm-hmm.
much, and thus they are neglecting the spiritual uh, part of our lives because all care about is when I can get this deal done,
Mm-hmm.
whether my boss will give me promotion, whether I can have this big bonus so that my wife and my children are going to be happy,
Mm.
blah
Right.
blah blah.
Yep.
And yeah, because to live in a fast-paced society, maybe those things are more important compared to, for example, I don't know, maybe if I live in some kind of small village in Southeast Asia, probably I would care less,
Yeah.
right? Because my life is simple, right? How good can it get and how bad can it get, right? More like that. Yeah, so I think it's more particularly, yeah, for people living in big cities, yeah, hustle and bustle, it's more stressful, yeah, for them to balance this.
That makes a lot of sense. And I look back at my own life and recognize the points where I was in the big city because I live in a
Yeah,
town now that's
yeah,
2,500 people. Like it's
uh-huh.
small. It's small.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably one block of Hong Kong, like in
I guess so. Yeah,
in my
yeah,
total
yeah.
town, just
You're
comparatively.
you're, you're pretty much, yeah. If you're talking about 20, yeah. Did you say 25
100.
hundred? Okay,
2,500.
2005. Okay, that's yeah, that's one block. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
comparatively the hustle and bustle element,
uh,
like people
mm,
work hard and it's, we still are
yeah.
caught in the same,
But
but
can I ask you why? Why did you choose your this kind of simple lifestyle?
well, I grew up outside of Boston, Massachusetts,
Yeah,
and I lived in Boston, Massachusetts for a long time. And
yeah,
when I came out here, I didn't necessarily plan on being out here forever, but
uh,
I came out here and I experienced a different pace, and that pace just felt more fitting in a sense. Like
okay,
it felt
okay,
more freeing. Like I could still come
okay.
out here and work and obviously I got to make money and
Mm,
survive and do all those things,
mm,
but
mm,
the pace and the lifestyle felt very different. Like people weren't as caught in what you just kind of described, where you need to be
yeah,
all systems go all the time.
mm,
There's elements of that here, but at the same time, just being in this type of environment, it
mm,
doesn't move as fast. And now, I mean, I will
Mm,
say though, I do a lot of my own like personal stuff and creative aspects and my own
mm,
little side hustles. And so sometimes I still get into that mode, but
mm.
the rest of the community isn't really like that. So when I step outside and I'm kind of immersed, I don't really feel that hustle culture, if you will. So
Yeah.
it's a different environment. And I think for me it kind of it gives me that, well, you were talking about equilibrium, it kind of gives me that in a
Mm-hmm.
sense. Because I'm very
Mm,
driven and I like to stay busy, but sometimes I just
mm.
need to take a step back.
Yeah, yeah,
If I'm
yeah,
in an environment that's like all systems go all the time,
yeah,
I'll go work 70 hours a week and not care.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a good
Interesting. Uh,
it's a good equilibrium, I think, that comes from the environment that I'm in,
uh,
which is nice. And I think I needed that. So once I got here,
mm,
I'm like, okay, this is good. This supports me. This helps
yeah,
my
yeah,
spiritual growth in particular,
yeah.
and being grounded. So,
Yeah, I think I need a change of environment too. I just don't know when.
hmm,
I think it helps, right? With your creativity and mm,
hmm,
yeah,
okay.
but maybe yeah, not the right timing yet. But I'll see. Yeah.
I was gonna say you usually like kind of get that inkling, and then when it happens, when it's the timing, you just kind of know. It's just like, oh, all right, now's the time to really start doing the groundwork on that.
Absolutely, yeah. And I believe that again, right? Work with the sky.
Hmm.
I think that if the timing comes, I should know.
Yeah. I was gonna,
Yeah, I should know, and I will know. Yeah.
do you have any, are you gonna go off to a small village in East Asia and or live on a mountain and or what's your plan? I could see you living as like a wise guru in the mountain. I
Nah,
don't know,
I don't.
personally, like
I yeah.
I'm almost
I,
surprised
I
you're not.
I want to live somewhere. Yeah, maybe Southeast Asia.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And definitely not as chaotic and hectic as Hong Kong. Yeah, I think maybe somewhere. Well, I still like cities. I mean,
Yeah.
there has to be certain things happening, but um, yeah. And also, I think also depends on whether I have friends there or not, whether that place is easier to to be an outsider. If you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
at this age, it's not that easy to make friends.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Um,
So you also have to see whether people living in that country or that area, whether they are friendly, whether they welcome
mm.
outsiders. Yeah, to be a part of their community. I think.
I
Mm,
get you. I was gonna say
mm,
I know you're a bit older than me, and I'm turning
mm,
30, and I already find
mm.
it a difficult age to make friends. So give me a couple more years, and I can, I
Yeah,
can only imagine. Can only
yeah,
imagine. That's just how it
Mm,
goes, I guess.
yeah. Because I feel like when people are older, everyone when they choose friends, everyone has an agenda.
Hmm. Hmm.
Children don't. Kids, whether they like you, they don't like you, right? It's easier to be friends. But for adults, I mean, again, yeah, different areas. Maybe your city is different than my city. But usually, I realize that people living in those kind of big, like New York or Hong Kong, yeah, people have agenda, and they will
Hmm.
be friends with you because they have a purpose. They
Yeah.
they want they want something from you. And I'm not saying that there's no genuine friendship, but if you can really meet a genuine friend, that's very, very rare, I think. Yeah.
Hmm. I get you.
Um,
It's
yeah.
almost like transactional in certain aspects
Yeah.
in our culture.
Which is not necessarily all bad, right? Maybe see, I want something from you, you want something from me, and maybe we can be friends for that 2 years, right? Which
Right.
is mutually beneficial. But the thing is, to me, it's a bit like, but do I really want that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bit, yeah, yeah.
I
Uh,
get you.
uh,
Is there a certain, like if we were to look at the astrological times from like a personal relationship lens or like a
mm,
friend's lens
mm,
or family
mm,
lens, how is that fitting into the picture for people, right? Because I'll speak to myself here to where I'm single. I got no kids. I kind of just live my own life. I'm the happy
mm,
bachelor, and it's like I don't need a lot of. I don't feel like I need a lot of like people and friends and all that stuff. At
mm,
least
mm,
right now. So I'm sure if I were to look at my own chart, maybe it's telling me that. I don't know.
mm, mm,
But
mm.
I mean, I guess obviously, and everybody's chart is going to be different. But are there certain themes for that in 2026 when we're looking at personal relationships or we're looking at sort of where we can find support from people or what type of challenges people
Hmm.
might face?
Um, there are so it's gonna be a very good year in terms of relationship for for Aquarius. It's gonna
Oh,
be
okay.
actually pretty good because again Leo, Jupiter entering Leo, which is their seventh house cusp, which is about seventh house rules our marriage, our
Hmm.
commitment, and any type of serious relationships. So that could be very good for Aquarius people, I think. Or if you were talking about friendships, then it would be very good for Libra.
Hmm.
Uh, Libra
Okay.
rising because again, Jupiter in Leo would be entering their 11th house, which is a house of friendship, community, meeting new people, being a part of the bigger, bigger group. Um, Volunteer work, charity work could also be very beneficial to them. And if we're talking about casual dating, go on dates, meeting guys and girls, um, that would be Aries.
Aries.
Yeah,
Okay.
Aries, Aries,
That's my moon sign. That's
moon
good.
sign. Yeah. So Aries rising. Yeah. So depending on what your rising sign, do you know what your rising sign is?
It's Pisces.
Oh, okay. Pisces then. Oh, okay. So Jupiter in Leo, that would be in your which house? Let me calculate. So Pisces and Virgo. Okay, in your sixth house, good. The sixth house rules your
Oh,
daily
okay.
work, and also your general health.
Oh, so is it a
Yeah, so
pot?
that's
Is it?
good.
It's good.
So,
So
yeah,
my okay.
yeah. So because Jupiter is luck, so an expansion. So this could be about more work coming
Mhm.
to you in 2026, specifically after summertime. So the
Oh,
second
okay.
half of the year, there could be quite a lot of new project, new work coming to you. Also, Jupiter in sixth house is very good for your general health. So this could be about an increased level of energy. Yeah, daily operation also, not just
Okay.
necessarily your work, but it's almost like every day you feel very it's a lot of things happening rather than nothing, right? So this
Yeah.
could just be a very fulfilling when it comes to dealing with your everyday life. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Well, it's
Uh,
funny because I did the I watched your reading for the 2026 on YouTube, and I gotta
oh,
say it. I to give my listeners context, if you guys haven't watched Latao's readings, like please do. Like and I say that because every time I tune in, and it's not like I sit on my YouTube and be like, when's Letao uploading his monthly reading? Like I need it right now,
uh,
right? It always finds me in the perfect timing whenever I watch it. Like I was watching the 2026 one, and it said the first half of the year, it's kind of you're still hunkering down, you're planting a lot of seeds, you're doing a lot of the work.
mm,
And then come summertime, it aligns with what you just said, in that
oh,
you're going to see a big almost expansion in work and in
uh,
opportunity. And I'm like,
yeah,
huh,
yeah.
you just confirmed it by by examining my chart. So, um, yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there because I thought your 2026 reading on the pick a pile reading spot on, spot on.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, thank you.
Anthony said the same thing. He picked a different pile than me, but he said the same exact thing. He's like, "Wow, that like blew me away." So we're always blown away by your YouTube readings.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
They're
Yeah, I actually really like doing a pick a card.
yeah.
Because there are two types of reading that I do. One
Hmm.
is this just for a zodiac sign. The
Yep.
other one is like the new moon reading pick a pile, and there's another one which is also pick a pile, but it's not really new moon. It's just a specific theme,
Yep.
right? I enjoy doing the pick a pile much more than the zodiac sign one. I
Why
don't know
is that?
why.
I was gonna
I
say.
don't know. I can't figure that out. Because when I do the three pictures, right, and then choose your pile, right, and then I go into the reading, I don't know. I just feel I'm more psychic when I'm
Hmm.
doing those readings. Yeah. But when I doing the 12 zodiac signs, I don't know. Maybe there's also always a part of me just feeling that. But it could be your sun sign, could be your moon sign, could be your rising sign. Maybe for some of you guys, you also read your own chart. Maybe you're watching it because your Venus is in there. It's
Hmm.
just too many different scenarios, and
Hmm.
it's yeah. So I don't know. I'm also thinking how to restructure my YouTube channel so that I can do more pick a pie rather than the 12 zodiac signs. But
I get you.
but a friend of mine said, "Oh, but you have to do the 12 zodiac signs, because it's just a standard thing to do. I don't know. A lot of YouTubers don't do that. The YouTuber, tarot readers don't do that. Um, and also it's a lot because once
Yeah.
you do that, you have to do it for all the 12 zodiac signs. That's
Right.
12 videos. So I'm still thinking what to do about this. Yeah, but let's
I
see.
get you. I get
Yeah.
you. Well, I think it's I would say I probably tune in, not that I don't tune into the Capricorn zodiac, right?
Uh,
But I'll tune in
uh,
for the that if I'm gonna watch a zodiac one, I usually don't go to my full chart and like, all right, let me watch the Pisces one for my rising sign, or let me watch the
uh,
Aries one for my moon sign.
uh,
I usually don't
uh,
do that. I usually just do it for the sun sign. Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I I do find them beneficial, but I guess you're
Mm,
right in the sense maybe there's so many different elements. Like if I were to go and
yeah.
watch the Pisces one, maybe I'd find it
Mm,
more profound
mm,
than the Capricorn one because that Pisces rising energy is so prevalent in my
mm,
life, right? And
mm,
I don't
mm,
necessarily
mm,
pick
mm,
up on that. So
mm, mm,
I
mm,
guess there are a lot of factors in that. And I think a lot of times
yeah,
people do just define themselves by their
yeah,
sun sign, especially if you
yeah,
kind of just take a surface level to astrology. It's easy to be like, I'm a Capricorn and then know nothing else about
yeah, yeah,
about astrology.
yeah,
And so
yeah, yeah,
if I were to maybe sit down and really know my chart, I know, all right, I know my Pisces rising is really playing a big role this month. Maybe
mm,
that's when I
mm,
go and watch the Pisces video.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's kind of dependent on I guess, the viewer's ability to discern which
yeah,
one they need. And I think with the
yeah, yeah.
pick a pile, it's like, all right, you see an image, I'm gravitating towards that image, and then you kind of just almost in a way, you just kind of spiritually lock in. I'll use that. I'll say
Correct. Yeah, yeah.
that.
And also, I want my audience to choose because
Mm.
it means you're participating in the reading.
Mm.
Right? Rather than just me saying to you, you're a Capricorn, that's why this is what it is. I want my audience to decide which part they want to pick so that there's a part of their energy in it as well. And
Here's
I
a
guess that's also the one
I was
reason
gonna
why I
say,
like it.
here's a thought that I had. You could always do it, and this is just a suggestion. Something
Oh,
because I've thought about doing tarot on YouTube before, and I there was a time where I was doing it,
oh,
and I haven't really done it, but I always
oh,
like the idea of doing. You could almost incorporate the zodiac with the pick a pile, and let's say because you have three in each house, right? Or each element, you could do like earth signs, pick one of these three cards. Fire signs, pick one of these three cards. And then I guess there's
ah,
three zodiacs in each one. I guess you could do
ah.
something like that. I don't know if I don't know if that resonates with you. That's what comes to my mind. Like you could almost have the three signs for you have three cards, but then you'd go by each element. I mean that I've done
Interesting, interesting.
I
Yeah,
did a reading. I don't know if it's still on YouTube. I took down all my old tarot readings I did on YouTube because I'm like, I didn't know enough about
yeah,
tarot. I need to take that. I didn't know enough about it, but I did and here's a reading for earth signs, right? And it was just
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
the earth signs. I didn't have the pick a pile aspect of it, but
yeah, yeah.
the way to
Oh,
incorporate it, I guess.
yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea, actually. Yeah. So basically, you're talking about still doing pick a pile, but separate them into earth sign pick a pile, fire
Yeah.
sign pick a pile, water sign, and that would be 4 videos.
Yeah, and four pick a pile videos. And then
Four pick a pile. Interesting.
each sign would still see, oh, it's water signs. You get all your
Yeah,
Scorpios and
yeah,
your Cancers and
yeah,
your Pisces in that
yeah,
one. And then,
yeah,
something
yeah,
along those lines just to incorporate because it would be very difficult to do each astrological sign and then pick a pile on each astrological sign.
yeah,
Because then
yeah.
that would basically make it 12, 20.
Cannot.
Yeah, that would make it basically 36 different readings if you're going to do pick a
Yeah,
pile for
that's
each
crazy. Yeah,
astrological sign. So,
yeah, yeah. I
oh
think
yeah,
12 is already quite a lot. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
For each zodiac sign. But I'll try to make it more efficient for everyone in 2026, and maybe I'll also change it a little bit. Yeah.
Well,
But it's all about testing, right? And
mhm.
see what people like. Yeah. Mm.
And growth and change. And I would say, like, because I think you do a good job now. Obviously, I don't see
Mm.
how much work goes in
Mm.
behind the scenes or what it
Oh,
takes to put up
no.
all like 12 astrological sign videos, right? I do remember. I do. What's funny is if I'm looking for my video,
Ah,
Capricorn is always one of the last ones that you put up, and so I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
he just put up Aries. Like I gotta wait 2 more days, you know?
Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Which
Ah, but so for I think this month, did I do that? Maybe not yet, but next month, we start from Pisces, Capricorn, and Aquarius,
oh, all
and then
right.
we go the other way. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Ah,
So
fantastic. Let's go. All right. I won't need to wait too long then. That's great.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but I don't see all the work. I think it comes down to like I've noticed for myself, there's things that I'll do for a long time, and then I just get hit with the moment of realization, like, oh, I think I need to stop doing, or oh, I think I need to change this. Oh, I need to just kind of switch it up. It's like
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
while I was so set on having I would do a podcast every week and I would release it every Monday, for example,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it was
yeah.
a set structure, set routine, and
Mm,
then
mm.
eventually I'm like, eh, I think I'm going to switch it up. And so I
Yeah,
don't follow it by that. I just kind of put them up
yeah,
whenever, and
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
working with my creative flow. And it seems it hasn't impacted the audience. It hasn't really changed. If anything, it's just been more beneficial, right? So,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think those changes are necessary when we feel the call to them if we've been doing something a certain way for a while, and then
yeah.
well, let me switch it up. Why not?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah. Have to be a little bit flexible, right?
yeah,
Mm, mm,
exactly. And
yeah.
maybe if you were to dive into your astrological chart, that's what it would say for 2026. I don't know, flexibility or something, like, hey, balance.
I
Let's
think
switch it
so.
up.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I think so. I agree.
how do you think we could? I don't know if you have any cards handy. I know you always do. I see
Uh,
Oracle of the Mythic Heroes over
uh,
there. Do you think we could pull a couple cards for the listeners and view it just to kind of
sure.
dive into a
Okay.
couple of themes?
Yeah. I will. What cards do you have at hands?
I have one of my tarot decks. I have the Smith Waite Tarot sitting in front of me.
Okay.
Uh,
So, okay. Let's do this, right? So let's do the a pick a pile with our audience now.
oh,
So
okay.
we're gonna do a ABC,
Okay.
right? So pile A, pile B, pile C. So now, listeners, you can choose a letter that you resonate with the most. Is it A, is it B, or is it C? Right? You can pause. Hmm,
Well,
hello?
you still there? I got you.
Okay, wait a second. Okay. Yeah. So and then we can you pull a card, I pull a card for each
Okay.
pile.
I like
All
that.
right. Okay. So make up your mind. All right. You can pause the podcast if you need more time to think about it. Now, so Evan will pull one card from Tarot, and I'll pull one from Oracle of the Mythic Heroes,
All
which
right.
is my own publication. All right. So let's start with pile A. Are we?
All right. I got one.
Okay.
I
What is
got
your card?
I got the Eight of Cups.
Eight of Cups. Okay. Now my card is wow. Siren's Clans. Interesting. So pile A. Okay. These two cards have there's a common theme between them. It's about moving from one stage to another. The Eight of Cups is about releasing the past and finding something that is more meaningful and authentic, more aligned with your life purpose, right? And the cleansing card is interesting because the cleansing card, Sirens, tells you that while you are going through this process, you really have to trust your own voice because there will be people and distractions around you telling you that don't do this or are you sure you want to do this, right? Just kind of like confuse you a little bit. But the advice as for the Sirens card tells you that the real answer is always in your own voice rather
Mm,
than the voices around you. And that's the story about the sirens, right? I mean, they sing beautiful songs to lure sailors and cause shipwreck.
mm,
And the Eight of Cups tells you that you know what your authentic self is. That card has a lot to do with transitioning from one
mm,
stage to another. Yeah, so I think that would be the theme for our pile number eight, pile A.
I like that. I like that.
Mm. All right, so pile B, right? If you have chosen B, this is your message, right, Evan?
I got the Nine of Pentacles.
Beautiful. Okay, Nine of Pentacles, and I have got Anya's Foundation. Beautiful card. I have to tell you something very interesting here. This card, Anya's, is ruled by Capricorn, and you just pulled out Nine of Pentacles, which is also an earth energy.
Yep.
This card is usually associated with Virgo, but similar energy. I think Pile B this year is going to be the year that you are either you're going to enjoy the fruit of your labor or you're going to build something, and later that the so-called fruit of labor will come to you as a reward. Nine of Pentacles is about your self-value. You can see on the card is a beautiful woman wearing this luxurious dress. She's standing in her garden. She's got a beautiful bird perching on her finger, and she's got a lot of money behind her. Very, this lush green garden, right? This card has a lot to do with a sense of abundance. And the point of Nine of Pentacles is that you have to really know that. You know your value, you know what your resources are. And the advice card, Agnes, says foundation, is telling you that how you're going to use your resource to build your future. That's going to be the key point for 2026, right? Just in case if you're self-doubting, if you don't know, do I have what it takes to achieve whatever your dream is? The answer is yes, because Nine of Pentacles tells you that you're to have everything. You are ready. You just need to really build that foundation.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that.
Right.
All right.
Pile C.
All right.
All right, Evan.
I got the Knight of Swords.
Ooh, interesting. Knight of Swords. And we have got for C, leadership Theseus. Remember earlier we said the year of the fire horse? You literally got a horse running with a guy in a red cape. Okay, on the card. That's a Knight of Swords, speedy, fast, okay, movement. And we also have got Theseus leadership. I have a very strong feeling, and I think that maybe a lot of people who are choosing Pile C, maybe in this year, you will need to be courageous to take a leadership role. This could be about maybe new responsibilities at work, or maybe even just, there could be some project sidekicks that you're doing that will require a little bit of courage, require a little bit like that kind of, decisive, required to take decisive action. And the Knight of Sword energy has a lot to do with that sense of speed. Sword in tarot is to deal with communication as well. So I think this is also about you needing to be very outspoken, like the fifth, and be very outspoken about what you want, what you need. And it's a very independent energy, let's put it this way, for Pile C. I'm not seeing this as you waiting for everyone else to give you the permission to do something, or waiting for everyone else to get ready. Then finally you will follow the crowd. This is really about you taking the first step, right, and start something.
Oh, beautiful.
I love this energy very much. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's interesting because each pile, they're very distinct paths. There's not a ton of overlap in each one necessarily. It's like, all right, we got three different paths, three different energies all coming out.
100%. Yeah.
Cups, Pentacles, and then Swords. You got each not each minor arcana, but three different ones for each card. So
yeah,
I love that. I
hope this. I mean, maybe later when you see Anthony, don't tell him the answers. Let him choose a pile first.
That's exactly what I'm gonna. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like, oh, you can, go choose a pile. That's beautiful. I love it. And I think that gives everyone a little bit of a taste of how you read and articulate the tarot and the mythic heroes. And I love how you can, Letao, I love how I find it very inspirational. I've learned a lot because I've been reading tarot for almost 10 years now. And I noticed early on, I really, not that I wouldn't say I struggled to make it practical, but a lot of times I would focus a lot on the bigger themes or the spiritual concepts or the almost mystical elements of it. I've really learned from your tarot perspective how to look at cards or how to look at a suit or like a pentacles or whatever it may be, and take that and see the grounded perspective within it and bring it into those everyday like actions in a sense, right? Because I think if people, sometimes I think people maybe they might shy away from tarot or they might not like fully resonate if it's only rooted in like a spiritual, like mystical approach, like here,
Yeah.
but if you can
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
it and show that it is a tool for your everyday growth, and you can apply it in the ways
Mm.
that you do, that you talk about. Obviously, you touch on the spiritual aspects all the time too, but it's
Yeah.
really
Yeah. Yeah.
interlaced well with that, like with what we just talked about on each of these. Like there's
Mm.
grounded practical wisdom in the way
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
read. And I think that's a real gift, because not every tarot reader does that, right? And
Ha, 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 ha.
I've learned a lot about that through you and how I approach
Yeah.
readings, and how I it's like, all
Ah.
right, how can I take this higher concept, if you will, this spiritual
Yeah. Yeah.
concept, and make it more grounded and make it more practical.
Correct. Yeah. I actually, to be honest, in my early days training, I was very much staying in the spiritual part as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I recently had I think maybe a few months ago, I was doing a sangha for Paul Chek,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a tarot workshop basically that I did for some of his students. And because Paul also does his own tarot course, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
said to his students, I said, well, today, what you guys are going to learn from me is going to be very different from what you have learned from Paul. Because what you're going to learn from Paul is the very spiritual, very philosophical meanings of those cards. And it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be very good with your meditation. It's going to be very good for your, journaling, reflection, right? Things like that. But I say, when you're going to learn tarot from me, you're going to learn something that is very, very concrete. Like I will tell you, for example, you need to check your car because I'm seeing your
Mm-hmm.
car broken down tomorrow on the road. So get
Mm.
it checked. And I said that, well, which one is better? Both of them are important
Yeah.
because you have to really combine them together and see. And actually, so after that workshop, and Paul sent me a message. He said he really enjoyed,
Mm.
because he was not in the workshop, but it was all recorded. So he listened to it, when he had time. And he said, I found it very interesting. Like, where did you learn all these kind of practical things when you read tarot? And I said, well, I was very much inspired by another reader in my early days. Like,
Mm.
for example, literally the card, uh, uh, for example, the emperor
Mm-hmm.
in tarot. Like when you ask most people, let's say, including someone who has read probably hundreds of tarot books, you ask them what they know about emperor, and they will say, "Oh, it's about authority. It's about the father figure, right? It's about being dominant, right? And the divine masculine, whatever that is." And to me, the first thing that I see emperor was not those things at all. It's a secondly, it will come to me the authority. The first thing I see emperor, I'm seeing a boss or a company. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. So for example, when I'm seeing a combination at emperor sitting together with 10 of pentacles, this combination, I literally, the first thing that I would say, I said, this is a mega bank.
Mm. Yep. That makes
You know what I
sense.
mean?
That
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense.
So,
Yeah.
so, so that's like, because a lot of times when clients come to you to get a reading, they want something concrete.
Yeah.
I also noticed that when you are being too spiritual with them, some of them they don't like it.
Yeah.
They don't care about it because they're not spiritual people. They come to you and they pay you the session fee because they have a very specific thing they want to know. For example, whether I'm gonna be fired by my company. If I know my company gonna fire me, I better search job now. So they don't have the patience to listen to us being spiritual with them.
Right.
Mindfulness, be patient, be appreciative, be grateful. To them, it's like bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm paying you money now. Tell me if I'm gonna get fired. That's what they want to know. So I think it's important as a good reader, you have to have both sides so that then when you can combine them together, it's going to be an amazing session for
Mm.
clients. Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
And I think
Yeah.
you almost got to use your discernment in a way. It's like, all
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
what does this person need? Are they open to the spiritual elements, right? And then you can incorporate them in. But
Correct. Yeah.
if somebody's not, well, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's where they're
Yeah.
at. They're still coming to, because I think you can still get immense value from the cards using it in a practical, grounded approach. But if
Yeah.
you're looking for spiritual wisdom, well, the tarot provides that too, which
Yeah. Yeah.
it's beautiful. And
100%. Yeah.
I found your decks and other oracle decks in particular, like if I'm looking for almost more direct advice
mm,
from a grounded perspective, I find them to be even more helpful because
mm,
it's like it'll give me a card. It's like, all right, leadership. Oh, well,
mm.
there's a concept to think about. Like, all right, how do
Yeah,
I
yeah,
incorporate the idea of leadership? Right. So it's almost
yeah,
even more direct, a
yeah.
direct approach. So
Actually, I'm gonna give you a small secret. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, there's a lot of things that I actually didn't even get to write about those cards. But when I'm reading them, right, because the guidebook has a limitation of a word count.
Hmm.
Like I give an example. For example, when I'm reading Oracle of the Mythic Heroes, like if you look at Theseus leadership, and then you go to another card, let's say Ariadne, right? The keyword is curiosity. When I have these two cards set by side, if you just read the guidebook, you'll be like, okay, so the card is telling me to be a leader and to be curious, and that's it, right? And you will stay there. But the other day I was doing a reading with a client and she was asking, she was going through like a breakup,
Hmm.
relationship problem. And she was, we were putting cards and these two cards fell out. I was not telling her, oh, you need to be a leader in your life or you need to be curious about love life. Cause that's like, for her, it wouldn't make sense. Like, what do you mean I need to be a leader in my life? I'm looking for a husband. You know what
Right.
I mean? So when these two cards come together, the first thing came to me was that you're going to meet a guy very soon. Okay. But you don't know this guy yet. And you might ask me, Evans, about Letao, how do you know? They have nothing to do with that. Well, because Theseus and Ariadne, that's how the story went. Theseus
Mm,
abandoned Ariadne on a deserted island. And Ariadne was desperate. She was abandoned. She was sad. And at that moment, Dionysus, the god of wine, saw her and descended from the sky and said, I'm in love with you. I will marry you.
mm,
So from Ariadne's perspective, she was abandoned. She went through a difficult time. But then what she did not know was that eventually she's going to marry a god.
mm,
So so when you got these two coming together, right? And if you know mythology, then and then you listen to what the client is telling you, then your intuition will work. But if you just stick with the guidebook, okay, leadership, curiosity, you will not get there. And so there are so many things that I wanted to write about this, how to use those 40 cards in the deck. I just didn't have the time. And
mm.
so that's one of the things I wrote in the first chapter in the guidebook. I said I would highly encourage everybody who's using this deck, please let your imagination fly.
Yeah.
Please do not limit yourself by the meaning of the chapters that I wrote. Please let your imagination fly and let your intuition guide you to wherever it is,
Hmm.
because you will be surprised how much information you can get out of those 40 cards.
Right,
Uh,
exactly. And it like
yeah, yeah,
there's like a well of information that I think you can kind of take in if you, especially if you know the stories and you know the
yeah,
backgrounds, and then start
yeah,
connecting different dots, how different people or archetypes, if we're looking at
yeah,
tarot, how those all play into sort of the
yeah,
larger picture. Like
100%. Yeah.
and
Mm,
that's why I take tarot from a very and oracles from a very intuitive perspective as it is. Like if I'm giving somebody a reading, like I don't I almost never will use the guidebook, for example. Like if I'm giving someone
yeah,
a
yeah,
tarot reading, like it's like, all right, well, here's what we were talking about, and this card came out, so it's probably in relation to this. This is a general theme
mm,
of the card, but so
yeah,
it's such an intuitive process, and I think once you really get that's that's why I think tarot is such a journey too, because it's so like when you first start, you are really reliant upon the guidebook and you really are reliant on the kind
yeah,
of the structure that's provided. But you
yeah, yeah.
realize it's so much more in depth than that, which makes
Mm,
it
mm,
beautiful because what you can
yeah.
learn is almost infinite in a sense, because it's like you always are learning more, and you're all like, I'm sure your knowledge on Oracle of the Mythic Heroes is probably more now than when you wrote it, and that's a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah,
The way
yeah,
the
yeah,
way you can express cards and articulate
yeah,
cards, it's like, oh, I've learned this about this card, and I didn't
yeah,
even think about that when I was writing it, or
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
it's
100%. Yeah. I'm also learning every day from our own writing, actually.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that's how it's supposed to be. That's the beauty
yeah,
of it.
yeah.
Um, so let's how we're at about an hour. I know that's kind of what we
Mm,
planned. We're a little over an
mm,
hour. We ran a little
mm,
over. That's okay.
uh,
Um,
uh,
do you have any where people could go to book your readings? Like
yeah,
any final
yeah,
thoughts? Just I want to make sure you get all of your
yeah.
information out there because I, having had a personal reading
Mm,
with you, I can
mm,
speak to its.
uh,
You really because we did you and I did a reading with you. I think it was March. I think it was
Oh,
March or February. I
oh,
don't remember. And I got to
oh.
tell you, Letao, you hit the nail on the head on how my year was going to
Yeah.
go. Like it was crazy. Looking back,
Oh yeah,
reflecting
I
on,
remember. That's oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
reflecting back because I got the one-on-one reading you did. It hit the nail on the head. I'm like, all right, Letao was right. You know, I got the receipts. I've seen the experiences I've had this year. It hit the nail on the head on all the things that I experienced
Yeah.
and went through. So I can speak to your work being and what you do in your sessions being profound and being healing and really giving good insight. So I don't know if somebody wanted to book with you, what's the process? Is there a process they can go through or?
So they can either reach me through my Instagram account, just my name. My Instagram account is at Letao Wang, LETAO WANG, and or my website, www.thehealingkingdom.com. Uh, or if you just want to check out how I do my reading, you can also check out my YouTube channel. I do a lot of general big part of reading there, so that you can just get a general get a feeling right about my style. And of course, if you like Oracle cards, you can buy them from Amazon, Oracle of the Mythic Heroes and Oracle of the Celestial Deities. And in May, a new Oracle deck is coming out. We just talked about that. Legends, Heroes, and Villains Oracle, May the 5th.
May the 5th. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
And Letao, as I asked that question, I just like had the intuition, the call to just let me just pick up my deck and see what card is at the bottom of
Yeah.
the cut. And it was the world. So
Oh,
we think
beautiful.
the world of your readings. You know,
Yeah.
that's the energy people will get from your from going and engaging with your work
Oh,
further,
beautiful.
in my opinion.
Thank you.
So
It's a great card. Yeah, it's a card. It's a card of elevation,
yeah,
the world. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you so much for having me today.
Yeah,
It's
of
always,
course.
yeah, yeah,
Of
always
course.
good to see you and talk to you. Yeah, I feel a lot of very vibrant and good energy from you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need that. I need that as well. Yeah, yeah, to
Well,
remind myself that life is beautiful.
it's vice versa, Lital. Like I said, I mean, myself, Anthony, like we literally talk about you all the time, like all the time. Like it's almost
Yeah, yeah,
embarrassing how much we talk, how much we refer, we talk about you.
uh,
So
uh,
we
yeah.
think we really think like the world of you. There's the
Thank,
world card. So
thank you,
the
thank you so
words are
much. Yeah,
genuine.
hopefully one day I'll get to visit
Oh,
you guys. Yeah, yeah.
definitely. The seeds have been planted for it. So
Yeah.
either you
No,
come out here or we come out there, whatever it may be.
yeah, yeah.
We'll have
Is
our
it South Dakota? Is that
South
where you're in?
South Dakota.
South
Yep.
Dakota. Okay, okay, got you.
So
Yeah, yeah. Because all the what's happening in the States, right? And,
hmm
people get rejected at the immigration. I don't know. But
Oh, right. Yeah.
yeah, but my US visa will still be valid until early 2029. So
Oh,
definitely before that, because I want to, and I'll have to go to the States at least
right.
once. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So
Well, even if you
yeah.
got like some events or something that are going on in the
Uh,
States, we'll
yeah.
travel. We'll come on out for it. So
Yeah, yeah.
whatever it may
Hopefully,
be.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You just
yeah.
if
Thank you so much. Yeah, hopefully I'll get to do a book signing somewhere. But I think if I do a book signing, either it's gonna be probably gonna be in New York. I would
okay.
say,
Well,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
I grew up a few, well, it's probably like 4 or 5 hours from where I grew up,
Mm.
but that's me going back to
Yeah,
my side of the country if you're going to New
yeah,
York.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'll come on out to New York if you're
yeah.
going there. Uh,
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely keep you guys posted. Yeah. So, the Oracle deck is May, and then the next book. Well, hopefully we're gonna start the editing in March,
mhm.
in the spring next year, and it's scheduled to be released in 2027. So I'm
Okay.
thinking maybe I can come to the States in 2027. I can do a book signing somewhere in New York. Yeah.
Sweet.
And I'll keep you guys posted. Yeah.
Yeah, please do. That'd be awesome. And thanks
Mm.
to all the listeners for tuning in as well. Um, yeah, go follow Latao's work. Go check out his
Yeah.
YouTube page. Go watch a
Yeah.
reading and click the one that you feel called to watch. It's probably what you're meant to watch because I'm
Yeah.
blown away by all of them. Um,
And happy
thanks.
holidays, everyone. Yeah, happy
Yeah,
holidays.
happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas. Yeah,
And
yeah.
let's hope this episode was insightful for the year ahead. And we will see you all on the next episode. Special thank you to Letao for coming on the fifth dimension. Always enjoy catching up with Letao and doing shows with him. It won't be the last time he is on here. And I look forward to personally chatting with him next week. Gonna do my own little consultation. And I would encourage you guys to book services directly with Letao. Like I said in the podcast, I do mention and give a testimonial. If you're looking for guidance and insight, obviously I could sit here and try and sell myself in a sense and be like, hey, book a reading with me. But Letao, I'm telling you guys, like he's worth going to for services. Like he really unpacks it on a deeper astrological level, which is not something that I do in my own readings. I don't necessarily look at somebody's astrology chart when we're unpacking the concepts, but Letao really takes it to that level and can look at your full chart. So not to say don't book a reading with me. I'm always Letao and I have two different ways of doing it, two different styles. We're both good, but go book a reading with Letao. I'm telling you, especially for the new year, I think it could be very beneficial and you'll get a lot from it. I am offering up my New Year's uh, donation service, as I mentioned, but I mean, if you're feeling the call, I'd say go book a reading with Letao. You will not be disappointed. I highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. I mean, I'm going to get my second one. Like I'm a return customer. You know what I mean? I'm a return customer. Tells you all you need to know. I'm not gonna invest in something twice if I don't find it beneficial the first time. You know what I mean? And I know many of you guys are probably in the same way. But special thank you to Letao. I would encourage you guys go follow him on Instagram, go follow him on YouTube. I always take something from his readings on YouTube, even if a lot of them are like 10 minutes long. Like there's always some truth in there that I really resonate with. And he's really tapped in intuitively to the collective energy, but also able to break it down in a way that it personally makes sense. So check out Letao's work, check out his decks, and pre-order his new deck that's coming out. I'll put the Amazon link in the show notes below. And yeah, subscribe to the podcast, obviously, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Substack. You can also, like I said, book a reading with me. If you're interested, do that New Year's donation. Just send me a message on Instagram or an email. I think my email is somewhere on here. If you click my YouTube page or you click contact in the Apple Podcast or Spotify, should be an email linked in there. And then, yeah, Iron and Ether fitness programming. Check it out. If you feel like it resonates, by all means, let's book it. Let's make it happen. Get you on the right path. And I will be offering more long-term training in the future. And I'm going to be designing specific programs to where you don't even have to meet, have a consultation, and you just go buy a specific program based on a specific intent. And those will be a little cheaper than just booking a consultation instead of me designing an individual program. So maybe you want to hold out till then. I don't know. They're going to be designed so that anybody can pick up that program and then put it to use. But I think anytime you buy a generic program, there is going to be, you take what you get from it, and then you do ultimately have to kind of tinker with it a little bit and see what works and see what fits, because it's tough to design a one size fits all model, man. That's why I'm offering up first the personalized service, where we build your program. So check it out, Iron and Ether, and it's we got some merchandise available through spring, and I got the link for that in the episode show notes below. It'd be cool if you want to purchase a sweatshirt or a t-shirt, or you want to purchase a bro tank. We got some tank tops up on there, Iron and Ether, but we also got a fifth dimension tank top on there. You want to rep the fifth dimension, so I bought one of the fifth dimension sweatshirts that were on that website. And it's funny, I don't have to pay full price, but I still got it's still pretty like a hefty portion of it. At least half. I don't get that much of a discount when I go and purchase my own merchandise, which is why I don't have a bunch of my own merchandise. Otherwise, I'd be repping it every day. But that sweatshirt I got from there, I grew out of it, but it was so comfortable. It was so comfortable. I wish I hadn't grown out of it. I was wearing larges at that point. I was a little skinny boy, built like a number two pencil, so I could squeeze into a large. But that Fifth Dimension sweatshirt, it was like their premium sweatshirt on the site, and I said, you know what? If I'm gonna make clothing, I'm gonna make it the premium option. I don't want to mess around. And I'm not just saying that to sell sweatshirts. Like I'm being genuinely serious. It was the most comfortable sweatshirt I've ever had. It costs a little bit more for them to make, explains the price of it, but it was so comfortable. I think it was 100% cotton. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. I know some of y'all are a little hesitant on having the mixed fabrics, and I kind of am too, personally. I don't blame y'all, but we take what we get around here, I guess. But go check it out. The link for that is all in the episode show notes. I know it's a little just right around Christmas time. We're all a little strapped on cash, and it's an expensive time of year. But if you got a little extra Christmas money, you got a little money coming in, hey, that could be a little gift for yourself. A little Fifth Dimension merchandise or a little Iron and Ether merchandise if you're feeling the vibe of forging the body, awakening the spirit, and you resonate with that fitness concept. You can rep some Iron and Ether clothing. But that's going to wrap up this episode. I'm not going to keep y'all much longer. Y'all, regardless of when you're listening, have a Merry Christmas. It could be March, and I'm saying have a Merry Christmas. Still have a Merry Christmas. Have a beautiful day. Have a wonderful evening. It is a beautiful life. It is a beautiful time to be alive. And despite the hardships and the struggles and the shadows that we all experience and face, as long as we show up each day with a sense of gratitude and we know that we're walking on the right path and we know that we're trying our best and we know that in the end, we let love win, we're doing the right thing. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.